Hey Virgo, I'm going to be doing your monthly forecast for February 2019 for a Virgo Sun, Moon, or Rising. I'll be using 3 different decks today, 2 tarot decks, 1 oracle with a 7-card spread. I'll be using the Spirit Song Tarot that works through animals, traditional tarot, but this one is a new version called Ethereal Visions that I just got. I really love the artwork. It's a really beautiful deck, and I really recommend it to anybody who wants to get a new traditional version tarot. And then I'll also be using this Goddess Oracle deck. Alright, so I'll start shuffling the middle deck. Oh, but before I do, I'll start with an energy clearing. Alright, now we can start shuffling. So if you have anything you're setting intentions for this month, anything you're visualizing, any questions, just picture it going into the deck as I shuffle. For any Virgos out there, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Alright. We'll shuffle the Goddess Oracle deck. Well, let's begin. So with where you'll be at this month of February, we have King of Swords. So the swords are air signs, Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini. So this could be like representing an air sign you could be dealing with, or just your situation in general. I'm going to meditate on this card for just a second. So, honestly, I feel like I need to switch the next card, and then I can speak on what I think about what's coming up for you this month. So the next card will have Inner Focus, and we have the Hermit. All right. Give me a moment to meditate on this. All right, so I feel like you could be dealing with someone who's in authority in your life, whether you're dealing with a boss that happens to be an air sign or isn't but still is an authority, a parent, a family member, a partner, there's just someone coming up who kind of has some kind of power over you in some way. They're in a strong position, and they have a lot of intellect, and they treat things in a fairer manner. But this could also be you. You could be in a place of power and authority right now, and you're just kind of rising above everything. I'm kind of getting a feeling, though, that you might be dealing with someone in power, but there could be some of you that are standing in your authority right now. And it's interesting that the Hermit is next to this card, because the Hermit does correspond to your sign, Virgo. And, you know, it shows a lot about introspection and reflection, a lot of time of solitude and isolation, to be calm and reflective during what you're dealing with, and to not let anything on the outside distract you from, you know, all the messages you're holding within. So maybe this person who could be an authority of you, you need to kind of reflect over your situation with them and shed the light on it and see if, like, maybe it's time for you to take space from this place and really ask yourself, you know, if this person is treating you fairly, if the situation is good for you, and if it is, like, how you've grown from it and become stronger, like, you know, the King of Swords being in his strength. Or, like, how you could let this person inspire you to be in your power, you know, and in your strength and in your authority. Because if it's not negative, it could just be you're working with this person or this air sign that's showing you how to be in your power and how to stand in authority and be in your strength and take action in the areas that are needed. But if this is you as the King of Swords, it's you finally rising above areas in your life where you weren't in power and you weren't in control and you weren't taking your strength and using it to your advantage. And now, like, you're seeing that and you're starting to reflect over that, how maybe you've went through some changes and your inner focus is finally, like, you know, you're starting to see the reflection of just, like, what you've went through and what you've become, and you're kind of taking some alone time to go over, you know, how you got to that point. And it's kind of, you know, to me, this reading is still a bit vague. I feel like I'm still missing something here. So I'm going to pull an affirmation card and just make sure, because I feel like there is some other details I am missing. So what else am I missing for this reading? Three of Wands. And I put that for the inner focus to connect with everything. So Wands are earth signs. Actually, no, they're fire signs, I'm sorry. Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries. So give me a moment here. So I think you are reflecting over strategizing and planning on, you know, what your steps are, and I think you are in your strength. So I feel like, because this also signifies a person in strength who finally reached the top after putting in a lot of work and hiking to get to that point, and now he's looking at this beautiful view in front of him, but he had to work there to get to that point. So I do actually feel like this King of Swords is you, Virgo, because it is in the you position. It could still be you're dealing with the air sign, but from what I'm getting now, I'm seeing that this is you rising in your power and in your strength. But you had to work to get to that point. And I think, like, your inner focus is reflecting to how, like, all this work you had to put in and how you had to get to that point. And maybe the lessons you got out of putting in all this work that got you to where you are. And that's kind of what you need to spend time in solitude going over, to reflect how much you've grown and how much those lessons have taught you to be a stronger person in this way. And it could have been a very difficult journey to get to where you are, but it brought you to a place of authority and power and strength, and just being in control of your life. And now it's kind of like your main focus now is, after doing all this work, is to spend some time within to get some more answers and reflect over the insights you've gained from this journey you've been on, and really just taking that to give yourself more wisdom out of like everything that you've had to work for. Because everything you worked for can be an example of everything that you've learned, and that can be the wisdom you gain that can help, power you in your strength. So yeah, I think you're kind of rising above maybe a lot of like difficult areas of your life that you were dealing with. But now you're planning a life and you're strategizing a life that gives you more power and more authority in how you're living your life. You could also be planning to travel somewhere abroad, because he is like looking beyond. He's planning his next journey of travel. And if you are planning to travel somewhere, again, this is where the Hermit comes up, to let you know that you need to reflect and get that time alone to plan out how you want to go about, moving forward with your journey ahead in your travels, and to really go over all the details in that way, but not let anyone pull you out of that time, because you need that time to go within to connect with those answers that you hold within you and your wisdom, and to really just take a moment to slow down, to just be present with yourself in that way, because you are in control of where you're going to go, and you're in authority, and no one can stop you in that way because you hold the power in your hands. But you still kind of have to reflect and go over all the details of your planning and how you're going to go about this next journey that you see for yourself in the near future. So I think that could be for some of you Virgos. But that's definitely what I'm getting from that. And then for the outer focus, we have Two of Pentacles. So yeah, I think with doing all these things, these plans that you have ahead of you, maybe some goals, you have to balance out some areas, like maybe balancing your finances, because if you're going to go on a trip and you're planning to make that happen, you have to like save up your money and balance how you're spending your money and how you're using it. And also just how you're using your time in your work. Make sure if you're spending time in work that it's giving you enough money to do what you need to do. And that, whatever you're doing in your work is balanced and not like out of whack and chaotic. Because if you have all these goals in mind, you have to be like working a career that's going to help you fulfill those goals, and it has to be in balance with your life so it can flow smoothly. So I think that's a really important outer focus for you, is to really pay attention to your finances and your job and how you're going about it. And if it doesn't have a smooth flow, then you need to find something that does, that'll gratify you and help you pursue this journey of travel that you have in mind, and to just balance how you're using your money in this way. And it can also just be like balancing your relations too, because balance works in all different areas. Now Pentacles is more physical and material, but it still could be like your physical relations with others, because in order to really make progress, you can also make progress through working with the people around you. And if you have balanced relationships with those around you, then that can help you, and you can help them get to where you need to be, and working together proactively in a balanced way. And I think you're also going to be adapting to the changes that are going to be taking place from whatever plans that you're having in mind that you're going to pursue. I think you will do really well at going through the change in a positive way that will create a place of balance and renewal for you. And I think it's just something more that you've been waiting for than like something that's just like coming out of the blue. So I'm feeling more this has to do with how you're going about your money and your career, but it could be for some of you like how you're treating your relations with others, and how some of those relations could be changing, whether for good or for not. But balance is definitely a really important facet for you right now, so especially in the material realm. And then for thrive, how you're going to thrive this month, we have the Queen of Swords. All right. I need a moment to look over this card. So I feel the way you're going to thrive and what you're set out to do this month, in this month of February, is being confident in yourself and being assured that you are going to make happen what you dream to have happen in your goals, and that you're going to take the time to, you know, put in the work to make these things possible, to, you know, take that trip and travel, or to just, you know, whatever goals you have in mind that are going to cause movement and change for you. As long as you stay focused and assured and organized, and you're really just intellectual about how you're spending your time and your money, and just being very like put together in in those places of your life, especially like being organized in places of work and finance. If you can just, you know, be confident in how you're going to treat those areas, then you can definitely like achieve getting to these places of movement and travel and going abroad to new horizons, as long as you allow yourself to stay confident in the pursuit and don't let anything take away your confidence and make you feel insecure about what you're going for, because that's what's going to help you thrive, is just like being in your power, not letting anyone stop you, and you being confident in yourself and what you desire and what you want to give yourself in your goals. And also you just being very like responsible and, you know, organized in how you're treating, you know, yourself and achieving those goals, especially with how you're treating your money. Because I think that's like the biggest thing, is just being very careful with how you're using your finances and being balanced in that area, so then that can help you get to where you want to go in these, you know, these big goals that you have in mind in your near future that are going to cause like some big changes for you, in ways that you see for yourself to be positive changes that you're ready to adapt to. But you just stay confident, stay focused, and really, you know, use your brain to really like, how should I put this? To really go over all the details and really like articulate everything that it's going to take for you to do to like get to this place of satisfaction that you're seeing yourself being at, and, you know, and elevating your life. Because it's going to take more work, but you know, you've been to this place before, and you can go through it again, just as long as you just stay in your power with going through your pursuit. And the struggle for you this month, we have a reversed Two of Wands. So give me a moment to go over this card. I think what your struggle could be this month, though, is getting blocked from what you're trying to pursue, whether you blocking yourself or something blocking you, something being a barrier, whether it's a person or multiple people or an environment that you're stuck in. Because this guy's like, he's stuck in this kind of little cylinder, but it's like he's in this environment that's keeping him stuck. And he's like looking ahead, but he can't move forward because this barrier is in the way. And I feel like that could be what's your struggle this month, is there are things that are going to try to block you and get in the way from you getting what you want in the pursuit of your goals, especially if you're trying to travel or move somewhere. And that could make it pretty difficult for you to stay determined in getting what you want if you keep getting barriers, because that might exhaust you. And you might become a little too overconfident that, oh, like, you know, like, whatever, like, this is like nothing. Or you might just get overconfident that you have enough money, or overconfident that like you have the skills to figure this out, these like barriers right away. But then you might underestimate like what kind of skills and mindset and action it's really going to take to overcome these barriers, because maybe these barriers are a little more trickier than the barriers you've dealt with in the past, and that's kind of where it could be like you might be becoming a little overconfident in that sense, because this could be like a new test for you that you haven't fully experienced to this maximum level yet. And it's going to take a lot of determination for you to go over these barriers and like, you know, climb over them and get past them and, you know, really overcome them. Because that's like the biggest thing, is overcoming the blockages, the barriers, anything that's going to hold you back. But you have to be able to like have the energy to stay determined no matter how draining it could be to get through it. The only way to get through it is to stay determined, but confident in a way that's not like overly confident that, oh, it's just going to be easy, because it's not. It's not always going to be easy to get to the places you want to go. If you really desire to be in those places, you have to like be able to handle some of the whiplash that you might have to receive to finally get to those places. So it takes a bit of a beating sometimes. It doesn't have to be seen that way, but it can definitely feel that way sometimes. But really, to really become in your power and overcome any challenges, you do kind of have to take, you know, some, like I said, some whiplashes to finally kind of like overcome and rise above it. And it is going to be pretty exhausting, but if you just know and keep telling yourself you can overcome these barriers and these blockages, and that nothing can stop you from getting what you want, then you will succeed in this way. You just have to be balanced in how you're going to go about treating these challenging situations. And then once you do, then it should be a little bit more smoother for you to like deal with. And then for the advice for you this month, we have Butterfly Maiden, transformation. You're experiencing enormous change right now, which brings great blessings. So I'll read this card to you. As you go through this period of change, it's natural for you to wonder if your future is safe. I'm here to assure you that you're part of nature's cycles of birth, death, and rebirth. To bring in your desired newness, you must first allow old parts of your life to fall away. These changes are to be celebrated, not feared. Give thanks for this shedding of the old. Embrace all of the lessons it brought, and then let it go. Be giddy with excitement at the newness of the gifts that are now being bestowed upon you, and let their magic surprise and delight you. Don't be concerned about endings, as they're bringing in the new for you. Your prayers have been answered with this change. Let go of the old. Don't worry about these changes. They're truly for the best. So yeah, I think the advice is really signifying, from what I'm getting out of this card, is you know, whatever barriers you're dealing with, could be you creating these barriers of having a hard time leaving behind the old things in your life that are not really helping you grow and pursue these goals that are goals. The only way to meet those goals is moving and getting to those places. And you could be like the one holding yourself back from climbing over these blockages. But once you do, you'll go through like major transformation, and you know, you'll learn a lot of wisdom from what it gives you, letting go of things that are old and outdated in your life to make positive room for the changes that are going to take place, that are going to bring you more fulfillment and happiness, and gratification, that just like you worked really hard and now you're receiving the fruits of your labor. But you have to be willing to make the sacrifice to really let go of what is going to try to hold you back for making more progress. And when you learn to let go in that way, then you become in balance with your life, and you feel like things move more in a nice smooth flow than it is like more rigid and blocked. So really good advice for you for this month. And then for the lesson this month, we have 8 of Crystals, dedication and progress, and it's the buffalo. I'll read this one to you as well. Also, crystals are earth signs as well. So that's for all of you guys, Virgo, Taurus, and Capricorn. Let me find this one for you. Okay. So, 8 of Crystals. Strong and stable buffalo walks his sacred path, embarking upon his journey. With dedication, he's devoted to putting all of his effort into reaching his destination. Buffalo is full steam ahead on his road to glory, and his commitment is proving to be worthwhile. He's here to remind you that even if your work seems tedious, just keep going. Be adaptable, develop your craft, and plan your moves. With vigilance and care, know that you'll be met with success. Keywords: effort, dedication, progress, confidence, adaptability, craftsmanship, and strength. Yeah, Virgo, so that completely is related to all of this that we've been getting in your reading. And honestly, yeah, if you're trying to make a move or you're trying to find a better career in your life, that means changing the job that maybe you've been in or the environment you've been in, whatever it is, it is going to take a lot of effort and dedication on your part to make that progress. But to make that progress, you have to be confident in yourself to take that movement forward and then adapt to the changes that are going to take place. But it's all about, you know, how you're going to craft your life and your skills and how you're going to utilize your strength to make these goals happen in your life. And once you learn how to do that for yourself, you can be stable in your life in this way. But you have to allow yourself to move past the old things in your life that have already been outdated and no longer have any more lessons or strength or power to give you. And now it's time for you to gather as much strength in you as possible to finally get yourself to move forward and move past anything that's been blocking you to make this progress, to overcome all the challenges you've been dealing with, and to finally reach success in the goals that you have in mind for yourself. And then you can be in a place of balance once you do. All right, Virgo, well, that's all I have for you, and I hope that this reading was very helpful to you and that you have a blessed day. If you need to do a personal one-on-one reading with me, you can go to the description link box below and go to my Instagram, Mystic Yasmin, and you can send me a message. Other than that, until next time, Virgo.